my name is Alina. I'm going to today talk about abundance and how I started to attract more abundance into my life, what abundance means, and what are the different ways. Yeah, so let's get started. I will share a bit about my journey on the beginning, like where I kind of realized that this is in my hands, that I have an effect on my reality and on the things that I create into my reality. So I had just moved together with my boyfriend, and I was 19 at the time, not 19, 18, sorry. But I feel like when I was more 19, I started to kind of realize that whole manifestation thing. So, yeah, for what changed for me, like completely, was listening to hypnosis, like rewiring your brain again, to believing that abundance is possible, and that it's that I am worthy of abundance. Because this society is not built in the way that it will lift the positive. Usually we're like taught to think very negative thoughts. The media is negative, the news are negative, so we're like bombarded with negativity from like everywhere. So what it does to our mind, we start to go down, 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 to these negative thinking loops. If you're thinking negatively about your life, about the world, you cannot attract abundance. You cannot attract good things into your life. So what you need to shift is your thinking. At first, it's gonna be like a bit more difficult because usually the patterns are so like ingrained in our brain. And especially if you're an older person, then it's gonna be more difficult, but it's still possible. And what I find really helpful are also affirmations, because those you can just play like on the background and it will go into subconscious mind. There are so many different ways to attract money and abundance and the things that you want into your life. But for me, what I found most powerful is the intention and then feeling the feelings that you want to kind of feel in your everyday life. So when I started, now it's different because I have kind of figured the game out, so it's different for me now. But how I started, because like the starting is very very like kind of important. I was working this job and I wanted to make an X amount money through that month. I set an intention that I want to make X amount of money till the end of the month. And I reminded myself every day, like every moment that I remembered, I was like, oh my God, like I'm so rich. I have done this amount of money until my paycheck comes. And I would really like, I would hype myself up, like if I was going to the restroom, if I was going to, if I was working and then I had my lunch or whatever, a break from the work, I would like really hype myself up, like, you know, this is such a beautiful month, all of my goals are like happening, and I would really bring that energy up so that my like body and like everything starts to feel the energy, and that like I remember the frequency that I want to be on. And yeah, and I was like saying few things for myself, like all the time, like, you know, I have done this amount of money, I'm so grateful. We were at the time we were moving to another place. I was like, we have the deposit money for this place. When we need to pay it, like it's so perfect, I'm so grateful, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then also like I'm getting all of the double shifts. I was saying to myself, I'm getting all of the money that I need, like, you know, everything will figure out. I was like constantly reminding myself again. I know it sounds a bit like maybe too much, but like if you truly want to make a change, that's how you start. Or that's one of the ways, at least, like what worked for me. And yeah, what happened? Okay, I was working a lot at the time, because that was also my belief at the time, that like, you know, you need to work really hard for the money that you're going to get. So that's what happened. And I got so many double shifts. I got more money, and when the paycheck came, it had exactly a bit above the number that I had in my mind. So yeah, that was And I was like, oh my god, that was like, at that time I was like, oh, this really works, like it's crazy. Yeah, and then just in general, like seeing the good around you, like seeing all of the abundance that you already have amplifies what you already have. Because like, for example, actually before this story like happened, what was the beginning that I kind of figure out the manifestation, um also I told you before, like we were moving at the time, so we were looking into a new home, and it wasn't yet the time, but like I really wanted to move. I really wanted to live in a beautiful home. And that place wasn't like, I wasn't feeling good in that place. So what I would do, I would already make that place that we were living, like I would make it the best I could. So cozy that I could with the money and the resources that I had at the time. And then I would be super grateful for that already. Because manifestation works in the way that like the feelings that you are feeling right now manifests the future of yourself. So if you're feeling miserable now and you're putting out that negative lack mentality, that's what you're going to get in the future as well. So you really need to shift your thinking patterns, and it becomes easier with time. So when you start the journey of shifting your thinking patterns, it starts to become like more automatic. You don't need to do like after it all the time and like, you know, all the time be hyping your, because you're already risen to that like kind of frequency, so it's harder to come down again. Of course that can happen, but like at least you know already like how you can get back up. And this is not to say that you don't need to kind of feel or go through the difficult things in life. Like there would be spiritual bypassing not to kind of feel like difficult emotions or anything like that, but I'm just now talking about like abundance and how you can create that for yourself. Yeah, and like throughout my journey, like when I got more deep into it, I started to notice like if I would think even like something that I was like, oh my god, it's I would love to have like dates or like whatever. I would really like kind of like not even think about it that much, but just like feel like, you know, the taste of dates, and literally like someone would bring me dates to my home. Like that would just happen all the time, and still happens. So yeah, when you're starting out manifestation, I kind of maybe encourage to start with the small things, because if you don't believe that you can get like more from like a big things from life, it's very hard to start with kind of the big things, if this makes sense. So basically, like if you've been living like paycheck to paycheck kind of life, and you have never thought of like anything bigger or that anything bigger would be possible for you, then just start with the small things. Like start with manifesting 10 euros, start with manifesting a free meal, a free coffee, like, but it needs to be something that like, you know, you still like kind of want, so that you can create that emotion inside of you. Yeah, and once you go through the journey, like everything starts to come like more effortless. Like this life is like in the end, like of course there's a lot of darkness and a lot of like bad things happening, but at the end of the day, like if you're here watching this video, it doesn't need to be that way. You can influence your life, and you should. But just notice that if you are constantly thinking negative thoughts, that's what you will create in your reality. And also, like I have noticed like recently, giving up judgment is such a powerful tool as well. And like kind of softening into life. Like if you're judging yourself, you're also judging other people, and that's also a very negative thinking pattern. So having more discernment towards people and towards yourself, and like more love, that makes such a huge difference. So yeah, I think that's all that I kind of wanted to say for this episode. And again, subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content. And also you can follow me on Instagram. I also post there a lot. I will have everything linked in the bio. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.